Hi, everyone. Welcome to Running Real Estate with Ellen. And so many people have asked me since they saw my social media post, like, Ellen, how could you run, let alone place second in a 5K race last Saturday night on Memorial Day weekend when you were running around in this the week before, like a few days before? And what's this all about? And so, yeah, let's just start with I got second in Sammy's run. I'm grabbing for my Tervis tumbler because that was the award that they gave us instead of a medal. And, I have several of these going on back there, mostly in the Lakewood Ranch area. That's from the Boo Run. I actually sponsored that as a vegan race a few years ago. So I guess they have some connection with Tervis. You can't have too many plastic Tervis tumblers, or maybe you can. I mean, I generally don't use anything like this. I try and drink out of glass or, one of the big containers so that I make sure I get my 100 ounces of water a day, which is what I need for various reasons. But anyway, back to the foot. So I've had this chronic, and I've described this before, issue with my left ankle. And the short story is the wisdom from the physical therapist that I've had is that it's my orthotics. Now, I have a hard orthotic that I usually wear for training. This is an on cloud shoe. I worked at Fit to Run, which is one of the biggest running franchises in Florida. And I know they're in other locations as well. And I did that in preparation for writing my book, Vegan Fitness for Mortals. I just wanted to learn, even though I've been a runner for 42 years, a vegan runner for 42 years. I've done that. I wanted to still learn more, as much as I could before I wrote the book, about running shoes and how it affects you. And, this is a good shoe to run around town on. But I've tried racing in these, and for me, I need more cushioning. Now, some people say, oh, cushioning's horrible. I went through my barefoot running phase where I actually stress fractured my third metatarsal arch. I was running barefoot on sand, not on concrete, that 100-year-old invention that's really not meant for the human body. And so it's always been this work in progress. How do I deal with my left knee? We all have little biomechanical imbalances. For me, I've got scoliosis, and the left knee, if I don't wear an insert in my shoe, it starts to be very cranky. So the problem is, it's like you rob Peter to pay Paul sometimes when it comes to these biomechanical issues. And my left knee has been amazingly fine for 42 years. And when I tell people I've been a runner for 42 years, the first thing they go is, oh, my knees, I have two new ones, replacements. How do you do it? And the trick has been through orthotics. But this is what I use for racing in. This is, a very flexible, flimsy. Atrix is the brand. You can get them at most running stores and online. But there's the arch support, and it pushes up the arch, which repositions my knee and my hips, because women, that hormone called relaxin makes your hips spread apart with childbirth, which I've done 3 times, 3 girls. And so women have naturally wider hips anyway. With childbirth, it gets even wider. So it puts pressure on the outside of the knee and makes the arches collapse. That's how the foot bone is connected to the hip bone and even the neck bone. I mean, it just radiates up the chain if you don't fix some of these issues. And as people over the years have said, oh, just do lots of lunges and strengthen your quads and your hips and all that. Trust me, I've tried it. And for some people, it just doesn't work. So 42 years of running, this is what has worked for me. Now, what I want to show you, and when I'm training daily, I wear the harder orthotics in my training shoes. These are my racing shoes. Now, what I want to show you here is this is the same shoe. People say, do you have two right feet? Well, yes, I do have two right feet, two left feet. When you compare, this is obviously a new shoe. It has not been worn, and I will be using it at the National Senior Games coming up. This is the current racing shoe. And as you can see, Nike and all the other shoemakers are very good about putting different colors, different coating on the bottoms of shoes, so you can tell when you have worn it off. And at that point, that's really when your knee starts hurting, when you get to this point where it's all gone and you can just kind of see the difference. Technology has been amazing over the past 10 years or so. We've gotten these wonderful foam compression shoes. So, it's the foam. You can see by all those wrinkles there, that's what's taking the impact and the pounding as you slam the concrete or whatever surface it is you're running, preferably a more natural surface like soil, crushed shells, trails that have anything but concrete. So that's how these shoes work. But it's these, at the expense of my ankle, what's happening going back to the insert. So the arch is supported here, and it does all those wonderful things that I mentioned before about repositioning the kneecap. But it is also then, by pushing that arch up, it is making the ankle, the tendons and the ligaments on the side of the ankle stretch out. And they believe the pain that I am feeling, so much so sometimes that's why I had that big boot. I couldn't hardly walk when I got out of bed last Monday morning after having come back from California. And I had not done a 5K at that point. But I was just, from having walked around with that hard orthotic pushing on the outside part of my ankle, stretching those ligaments and tendons, I was in excruciating pain. And I had thought all of this was related to a high school trampoline injury when my ankle went out, same kind of way. But and it's possible that kind of started this whole sensitivity inflammation. But what my latest physical therapist said, and I think I've shared this, not only he, but others have said, I am like super, super flexible. I have very stretchy, bendy ligaments and tendons. And that's probably why I love to dance. And, I can do a butterfly, if you know what that is. And I'm in a dress because I just came back from the Leadership Academy for the real estate board, and I did some interviews for them. So a butterfly is like when you're sitting with both knees out to the side, completely flat. And one of these days I'll demo that for you, but I can get my knees pretty much down to the ground, which is hard to do at any age, let alone 70. So, yoga has always been a fun thing for me to do, though, I never became, I do have my yoga credential with the personal training certification I have, but I've never really taught my own yoga class. I've substituted over the years. And so the point being is that I'm flexible and bendy, and that has allowed incredible recovery from some of these, what for other people would be injuries. And my physical therapist told me an amazing story that he saw a basketball player once come down on his ankle, and it went like at a right angle to the ground. And he thought, surely this guy's going to break his ankle. And he said, on most people, probably would have ended up as a broken ankle. But this guy had such great stretchy ligaments and tendons that he just bounced right back like a rubber band. And that's, I guess, kind of the way I am as well. So that tells you how I'm able to kind of deal with some of these issues that for most people might be game changers, and that they would not any longer be participating in the game. But I still keep coming back, and was able to play second Saturday night after wearing that big old boot all week. And what the boot does, it stabilizes the ankle, and it makes those tendons and the ligaments take a break. Because otherwise I'm just running around. And, even my flip-flops, I love these flip-flops. They're just so bendy and great recovery. These are the UFAs. They make several different styles, but just a lot of fun to recover in something that is so comfortable. But that's how I do it. And of course, I drink a lot of water, 100 gallons, a gallon feels like 100 gallons sometimes, 100 ounces a day if I can. And that keeps the joints all loosey-goosey, as well as fluid in the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, and the fluids that keep us all surviving as we age up. So if you have a question you'd like me to answer, I hope you'll let me know down below in the comments and tell me what you think. What gets you through a race, a run? How do you do it? These are not cheap shoes, by the way, and it's one of the reasons I say I got to do real estate for as my day job to support my running addiction. And as my boyfriend would say, it's a great addiction if you have to have one. But seriously, 5K races are quite amazing. They're force training. And I will tell you something, we went out to California and we were just taking a walk one night along the Pacific Ocean in Santa Barbara, and we see these signs that say runners on the road, which is a common sign that you see when there are races going on, so that drivers, if they're driving if the street hasn't been blocked off, they'll be cognizant of the runners. And so we're going, oh, there's a 5K going on somewhere. So we didn't see the start line. We walked down this huge hill into a park and finally found a table. And I see that it looks like they're taking registrations. And I go, oh, do you do chip timed races? And they looked at me like I was from Mars. They did not know what I was talking about. And what they ended up doing was like old school index cards and, clicking people as they went by, reading their number, writing their number down on a big piece of paper. This was like so old school. We were just flabbergasted. And then the thing was, I asked, so do you have like age group awards? And they go, oh, no, you can just go look and see what your results are online if you want to know what your time was and where you placed in the whole race. And I'm going, there are no age groups? And they go, no. So I guess this whole thing, without getting too political, it's California and we don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I'm telling you, having the age groups and I was sharing this story with a number of my running friends and they're all going like, wait, what? It keeps you motivated. If you know what your time is, your personal time to beat, and that really is the only person you compete against. But you also want to know what's realistic for my age group. What is something to achieve? What's the next step up? How do I get better? And if you don't know what is age appropriate in terms of a race time for your age, then how do you know what to do? What's your goal? And so I've just been talking about this with other local runners and we're all like on the same page. Yeah, we would not live in a place where you couldn't do a race that had age groups. Now, I'm sure there are other races in California where they do age groups, but people were paying $35 just to run along a road. I mean, you could run along a road without paying the $35. Why would you do that? It just didn't make sense at all, other than and there weren't a lot of people in the race, and there certainly weren't, I didn't observe many people, if any, over 50. So I think we all need to be motivated, and whatever floats your boat, whatever, gets you up and out there training, it's all good. But I think it's important to have goals and, the competition that I share about running in these age groups. I mean, all the runners in my age group, we all know who we are. We're all supportive of each other and we're all huggy. And, it's not this cutthroat, oh, I got to beat Mary at the next race. So anyway, I just wanted to share that story because it's so mind-boggling. All right, everyone, let me know what questions you have. And for sure, don't let anything get you down. All right, got to run.